You
Oh.
couldn't script this better if you tried. Spell Pierce off the top of the library, Culligan's Command. Look at him, he knows.
Zach is like, there's no way. There is no way. Yeah.
I feel you, Zach.
All right, so my friends, welcome. I'm doing deck text for the 2 decks I played in the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Championship to an undefeated record of the Swiss. 12-0. 12-0. Lost in top 8, unfortunately. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And the historic deck that I played was Azorius Auras, but a bit different than most Auras lists. Before I even start talking about the deck, we gotta talk about light-paws. And light-paws was a card that I did not play, that almost everyone else did. And I think light-paws actually isn't very good. It's kind of funny we're going to be looking at different parts here. But look at light-paws here. And light-paws is a new card from Kamigawa. And basically it says whenever you play an aura card, you can search your deck for a cheaper aura or same mana cost aura and put it on light-paws. So it's obviously a pretty good card in the sense that you can kind of chain together your auras. But it has some limitations that I think are very, very bad. There are 3 major things that make this card bad in Historic. Not bad, but not as good as not playing it. Number 1 is that there aren't really many good 1-mana auras. There's no ethereal armor. There's no, like, really big aura you can get. Nor is there any, like, unique, like, niche auras you can get. There's no, like, you know, really, really good situational auras, and there's no really big knockout aura. So that's count number 1. Count number 2 is that it does not draw cards, which is very important because the way I built this Auras deck is very based on interaction. I'm trying to interact with my opponent. I'm not trying to just like play a 2-drop, slap a bunch of auras on it. So then this card doesn't do that. So you can't draw your Spell Pierces, you can't draw your Blessings, you can't draw your sideboard cards off of it. You just draw more crappy auras, which is okay, but not really how I wanted the deck to play out. And number 3 is that Light-Paws doesn't keep you going. So one of the great things about getting an engine online in this deck is that you get a Spirit Dancer in play, you start drawing cards, you draw into more Spirit Dancers, you play another Spirit Dancer, now you're drawing more cards. You're just constantly just drawing cards by the fistful and keeping the entire engine going. All Light-Paws does is find you more auras. It doesn't actually help you pop off. And they can only go on Light-Paws. So you're very, very limited in what you can do. So very often you'll play turn 2 Spirit Dancer, turn 3 Saram, and an aura. But if it's Light-Paws, now you're stuck putting the aura you wanted to go on the Spirit Dancer on the Light-Paws that can't even attack this turn. So it's a pretty awkward card in those 3 respects. It is good with Ghost form. I think is very, very true. And I think if there are more auras printed that are either more niche or a card like Ethereal Armor goes in the format, it'll have more of a place. But as it is, I think it's incorrect to play, especially in Azorius Auras. So let's talk about Azorius Auras here. You've seen Auras of Auras a lot. Azorius Auras is more of an interactive deck. Like I said, this is a deck that we're trying to play more of a game of Magic with our opponent, not just slap down a Spirit Dancer on 2 and just try and make it really, really big. So we have our Spirit Dancers, we have our Edificers, and we have our Drakes. Now, this is the core of a deck. You want to play one of these creatures, start playing auras on it, and keep drawing cards. But there's a lot more going on here as well. The big card here is Esper Sentinel, which kind of changes the feel of the deck. So Sentinel allows you to play on 1, force them to interact with you, draw more cards off of it, and just kind of keep that ball rolling. So they kill your first creature, whatever. You've drawn 2 cards off the Sentinel, you can keep going, which is great. And also it draws you into cards like Spell Pierce and Carametra's Blessing, which are really, really good at keeping your opponent off balance as well. So this deck is really, really good at asking your opponent a question basically every turn and forcing them to have an answer. And then occasionally, you'll have the re-answer as well. And if at any point in the line where they can't really have the answer at the right time, things start to snowball like crazy, start drawing cards, make it a huge threat. It's got lifelink, it's got vigilance, it's got first strike, and you're kind of just popping off. Savior is really important also. The deck, again, is more complicated to play than just like playing a 2-drop, putting auras on it, because you got to play against your opponent's removal spells, figure out when you want to do things, a lot of timing going on. It plays a little bit like Autumn Burchett's Mono Blue tempo deck from Mythic Championship 1, where you're able to kind of like play Sentinel, maybe put an Obsession on it, leave up Spell Pierce for a turn. You know, you want to play around what your opponent's playing, find the right spots, and so on and so forth. And the Spell Pierces are huge. They're really important against the control matchups and against the Phoenix matchups, which is great. A lot of those in the format. And the deck's just great. It's got a lot of play to it, a lot of options every turn. You can play slow, you can play fast. The deck's super cool. The deck's super, super cool. Chat's asking why no legendary lands. The mana's a little rough. Secret Home Coast is definitely a card this deck would really, really like, because you have your fortresses, only actually have 14 lands for Fortress to come in untapped. So occasionally this comes in tapped. You got to play all your lands untapped. So you could definitely play the white or blue legendary lands. I didn't really consider them. They could be reasonable, but the consistency you lose might be an issue. I'm not really sure, honestly. Test it. Try it. Let me know how it goes, for sure. Now, this is a Lurrus deck, which is a huge thing. Lurrus is very, very good in this deck because your opponent has to kind of kill all your stuff early. You can just buy Lurrus at some point and start doing the Lurrus thing in the longer games, which is great. And we lose nothing by playing it, which is awesome. Sideboard's got a lot of cards in it that are not auras, which again is important as to why light-paws isn't very good, because when you board in Portable Hull, you probably want to draw it. And the Drake will help you draw it, light-paws will not. So three Portable Hulls and 2 copies of Heliod's Punishment for removal spells when you got to kill stuff. Of course, Hushbringer is very good against a lot of the company decks and things like that. Those weren't very prevalent in this tournament, but it's still a pretty good card. Doan's Veto is huge against control decks. Cerulean Drake is huge against Phoenix and other red decks because they can't kill it, which is awesome. Most Phoenix decks only have like 1 bounce spell in the entire deck, maybe 2 if you count the land. So you play this Drake, and they can't really kill it. They can't really attack through it. It was really, really good. So Drake is awesome. Lantern's fine too. Sideboard is, it's more of a main deck kind of deck because you can't sideboard too much because you can't over sideboard. But deck's great. Deck's really, really good. Again, I'm going to go over my matches tomorrow on my match reviews. Look for that one on Twitch and YouTube. A lot of play to this deck. Very, very tricky deck. I think this deck is awesome right now. I think the way this deck is built is the right way to build it, of course, even though it's not the consensus way. And yeah, deck's really, really good. So check out the match reviews and stuff like that. And like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. You're all freaking awesome. Thanks for watching. And you're all great. Thanks for watching.